Our dear ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, welcome to all of you in the State Ministry of Animal Resources, Fisheries and Tourism. The purpose of this media briefing is to clarify and shed light on the recent allegations and misinformations and deformations that has been levied against myself as the Minister of Animal Resources, Fisheries and the Security Advisor by the defense lawyer of the former Central Equatorial State Butcheries Union Steering Committee. To begin with, I want to take you to the background of what happened, or the genesis of this issue of the recent dissolution of Central Equatorial State Butchers Union. In the late 2002, I received a group of butchers, members of Central Equatorial State, into my office. They came from the office of the governor. They went to see the governor on the issue of the defunct steering committee that has formed themselves without legal procedures. So His Excellency the governor sent them to me because this is the responsibility of the Ministry of Animal Resources and Fisheries in the state. They came and they lodged official complaints against the then Butcheries Union Steering Committee. The first point that they raised was that the body was not representative. It was not representing all the landscape or the counties of Central Equatorial State. It was only one tribe who was dominating the Butcheries Union. And again, the then steering committee was involved in arbitrary arrest and disuniting the butcheries members. And also they mentioned that the butchery was involved, the butchery steering committee was involved in the illegal collection of money from the public without the authorizations from the government. And as you know, the mandate of the government is to collect money. Collection of money is the sole or primary mandate of the government. But the then steering committee of the butchery was unfortunately involved in collection of money. And then again, most of the members of the steering committee was mostly members of organized forces. So with those points raised by the General Assembly that came to meet me in late 2002, I referred the case to the Director General because I felt it was not necessary for the minister to directly intervene into very administrative or simple issues like that. So I directed the first Director General of the ministry, together with in cooperation with the Office of the Legal Department of the State, Maulana Sabriwani, who is the head of the office here in the department in Central Equatorial State, to handle the issue. Of course, they said and they found out that the Butchery Steering Committee Union was given 9 months by the acting registrar for workers and employees unions in the National Ministry of Justice. Then they said it is difficult for them to dissolve the body and form a harmonized steering committee to handle the issue of the butcheries. They brought their findings to me, and I told them, I directed them, I say, if at all the National Ministry of Justice has erroneously given them 9 months, as a government, we are one government. We cannot by any account get into a controversy or entanglement with the National Ministry of Justice. We say, okay, the 9 months was about to end. It was remaining like 2-3 months. Then I say, okay, if they can do the election, because the primary mandate of that self-imposed steering committee was to carry out the election so that the Butchers Union elect the leader of their choice. Unfortunately, after the 3 months elapsed, or the 9 months of that was given to them, they also went underground to the acting registrar of the unions in the National Ministry of Justice, and the acting registrar extended their period with another 2 years. And again, the butcheries members came to my office here. They also say, Honorable Minister, you promised to solve our problem. Now these people have unilaterally imposed themselves again together with the acting registrar in the Ministry of Justice. They were given another extension of 2 years. And you know, my brothers and sisters, that the 2 years is the term of office. It's not for a steering committee. A steering committee is by law. We are supposed to be given 3 months or 6 months. But this is now a case of they are given 9 months, and again now we have been given another 2 years extension. So I say no, that one I will not keep quiet. As a minister, of course, that's injustice, and that's a irregularity. I address on the 28th of August 2013. I filed a petition to the National Minister of Justice. I gave all these details, and I told him to revoke, because a decision that is made by the acting registrar can only be revoked by the minister, who is the head of that institution. I say, my colleague minister, there is an error which is committed by one of your staff, who I believe has overstepped his mandate by giving these people another 2 years for them to organize election. I say this is wrong. And as a minister, I will not really go into public and start getting into entanglement with the national ministry. So I appeal to him, based on the grounds that I gave in written, to revoke the decisions. Of course, the decisions, they wrote back to me on the 28th October 2000, 2 months after I wrote I filed a petition. So in their letter, they say I should respond to points also presented by the acting registrar. I also responded, and I kept asking the Minister of Justice to really help me so that I organize this body, because organizations of anybody to do with the livestock is the sole mandate of the ministry. This is anchored in the constitutions of Central Equatorial State, and also by the gubernatorial appointment, by the presidential decree that was issued by His Excellency the President. The minister said yes, he will work on it. Of course, to cut the story short, that my letters was not given a due attention. So I also went to His Excellency the Governor, because I know Governor is the head of the institution, the Central Equatorial State, and he is aware of all what is happening in the area of butcheries, in the Butcheries Union. So His Excellency the Governor also earlier this year wrote to the Minister of Justice requesting him the same, to revoke the extension of 2 years, so that the minister form a harmonized body that encompasses all the counties of Central Equatorial State. These are the reasons His Excellency the Governor gave to the National Minister of Justice. But of course, up to this moment, there was no due attention, letting me, as a minister in charge, to reach into my decisions on the 25th January to dissolve the steering committee by issuing these two ministerial orders. One is for the dissolution of the body, and then the two is for the formation of the steering committee with a mandate to organize the elections within 90 days. I think all of you saw the ministerial orders. So now, why I issued the ministerial order? This is now the central question that I want you also to note. I issued the ministerial order on the following basis. Number one, the appointment of the so-called, or the then Central Equatorial State Butcheries Union was not, or did not follow a due process of the law, in the sense that these people, they galvanized themselves, and together with the acting registrar imposed themselves to be the body. And also another thing, that the body did not obtain the authorizations or the blessing from this ministry, because we are the custodians of anything to do with the livestock in the state. And because that is the Central Equatorial State Butchers Union, is supposed to affiliate direct. This is the line ministry. They are supposed to work with the policies and the regulations and the rules of this ministry. So that was absent. They did not have the authorizations. And again, most of the members of that steering committee were mostly members of organized forces, which something that is not actually legally accepted, because syndicated organizations of that nature is civilian. So some of them, if not most of them, are members of the organized force. Number two, the body also involved in arresting or arbitrary arrests of members, of some of the members. These are based on the complaints that was brought to me here by they were involved in, of course, the illegal collection of money in the market without the authorizations of this ministry or the Council of Ministers and the Parliament. Because collection of money goes through procedures. It has to be approved by the Council of Ministers and again by the Parliament, so that it is ascended into law. That was not there in the case of Butchers Union steering committee, the defunct steering committee. Another thing also, which is very important, we receive a lot of security information that these people, they are doing things that to ensure that the prices of market, if you might have been realizing, there is an increment in the price of irregular increment in the prices of meat in the market. This is also orchestrated. They have a system where they cut, and instead of the butchery, one butchery shop cuts 10 bulls per day, they issued some orders, bylaws there, which are not actually approved by the ministry, especially the Ministry of Trade, Central Equatorial State. They increase, they allow these butchers to only slaughter 5 instead of 10. This eventually increases the prices of the meat in the market. So these are some, if the cardinal reasons that propel the ministry, of course. We cannot really sit here tightening our hand behind and then or pretend as if nothing happened. So, and then also in addition of the complaints that was presented to me from the Butchers General Assembly of Central Equatorial State, which they say they are not responsible for this body, and of course I verified that they were not the one who elected the body. So I made that decision, and that decision, my brothers and sisters, is an administrative decision. That is within the administrative powers of the ministry or the minister, for that matter, because the mandate of this ministry is to organize, regulate, and reform any sector, to anybody to deal with their livestock and fisheries, and also tourism in Central Equatorial State. For your information, Central Equatorial State also, this ministry has a line, has a department of tourism, and the catering and hotel association. They are working closely with the ministry. Even we have gone further to reform them and ensure that there is Central Equatorial State Catering and Hospitality Associations or Union, which works in line with the policies of the ministry. And also there is Fisheries Union. Of recent I've been meeting, and then we have now constituted a body of Fisheries Union in the state. So this also falls under the ministry. That's why, what is the exception in the livestock in the Butchers Union? That they don't belong to this ministry. So I think that was an oversight, and the decisions we took address most of these irregularities. But unfortunately, as you might have seen in the media, that the defense lawyer of the so-called the then Butchers Union, Maulana Taib, I think James Taib, I think he went to media and he started really deforming or calling the government, His Excellency the Governor, to lift our immunity. I think that to me is a kind of defamation campaign which is not accepted So today I want to clarify that the decisions I took was within the administrative powers of the ministry. And again, because these people, they are not licensed from the ministry and they are operating illegally without the blessing and support of Central Equatorial State government. If this is a national butcheries union, honestly speaking, myself, I will not get into that. But because it is a Central Equatoria, by the name and default, and then by the implications of the following the line ministry, they now falls under the ministry. That's why I intervene, to reform the body and ensure that I organize them to reflect Central Equatoria State. Because if you can see, I told you, that body was only comprising of one tribe, which is like, it has become a county body, not a Central Equatoria State body. So we are doing what we call Central Equatoria State Butcheries Union. We are restoring the strength to the ministry, and then we are also telling the public that Central Equatoria State has got this body, and this body will now work together with the government. Should there be any problem in the market, of course, this ministry will be there to solve. And should they have also quarrel or misunderstanding within that body in the future, they will come to the ministry, and the ministry will be the one now to address their issues, because they are affiliating by the laws of this country into this line ministry. So my brothers, what the defense lawyer did to me is unfair, and I also want to blame some of the media houses that has not really cross-checked the ministry. They went, for example, that Dawn or what newspaper, that the title that came out, that the Bar Association, the president of Bar Association, is requesting or appeal for the lifting of the immunities from the minister, and as if there is a criminal issue happen. What we are doing was administrative, and the decision of the minister, let me also educate you, is not final. The decision of minister, according to Central Equatorial State Constitution 2012, amended 2015, can be revoked by the Council of Ministers or by the governor. There was no need for legal intervention from the court, like the order that they orchestrated. There was no reason for that. If my decision is wrong, the Council of Ministers is above the minister. They will be overturned the decision. And the governor, who is the head of the state, he can also say, Honorable Alex, that decision was not practical, was not lawful, or it was not reasonable, the rationale is wrong. Then he has right really to overturn my decision, not the court. And again, for you even to issue a stay order like what they did, they used I don't know what formula they come with that stay order. They have to notify, as a government, we have to be notified within 60 days by the National Minister of Justice. But that procedures, if you saw in the stay of order, was not actually practical. It did not follow the procedures. We were not notified by the Minister of Justice that you have a case in the court, because this is a government, it's a responsible government. No minister can ever go just like this and go to the court. The National Minister of Justice must notify us 60 days before the court proceedings. So this is the practice, this is the laws of this country, and I believe that the stay of order that maybe the defense lawyer is talking about, there was an oversight, or I don't know maybe how they pen the course of justice to come up with that stay of order. So I will request the defense lawyer to stick into legal procedures, to respect government institutions, not to tarnish and deform the names of the ministers and advisors. If he has problem, the office of governor is open. Let him go to the governor and let them overturn my decision. I will welcome that. But to go into media and start creating stories, this one is not acceptable. And I would really appeal to our brothers in the media to help us, because the country is in the transition. We don't allow the people with bad intention really to play with words or create stories that will have a bearing on the government, especially in this trying time where the leadership of the country is working very hard around the clock to ensure that peace is prevailing in this country. As I said, also I want to request our brothers in the media that if there are any story that touches the government, please reach out to us. Our doors are open. our phone calls. I appreciate the City Review journalists, I don't know, or one of them called me, and he was seeking my rejoinder, or my comment on the issue. Then I gave my comment and the reasons why we reach into that decision. And also, I want Maulana James Atey not to be using the name of Bar Association, because we have no problem with Bar Association. To say that the president of Bar Association, he is there representing his client, not in the position, not in his capacity as the president of Bar Association. This one is also an oversight. I will request you, if there is anything, or any points, or any controversy like this, that we should refrain from using titles which are not relevant to the case. So I think if he is a defense lawyer, that is his client, it is his right, it is within his right, but not to use the title of president of Bar Association. To me, that is also an oversight. So finally, I request all the stakeholders to support this reformatory process that has been taken by the ministry. Our interest is really to have a butcheries union that reflects all the counties of Central Equatorial State, that ensure service delivery, quality service delivery into the market. We need to organize that body so that we have also a regulated or a licensed butcheries in the market. You know, the businesses of livestock is not easy. You know, there is diseases that are shared between animals and human beings. If there is no intervention of the government, then we will be risking the life of our citizens, and this is not going to be acceptable by the ministry. So we need to regulate that body, and also we need to license everybody that is claiming to be a butcher. He should have a license from this ministry, and then the veterinary doctors and all these things will also do their due diligence into his shops or whatever the butcher's place. This is very important, so that we ensure that the health of our people comes first. When we ensure the health of our people comes first, then this is the general welfare of our people. You know, meat is something that is widely liked by our citizens. So we should not also compromise on the standard. My brothers, this is a very few briefing. I would also ask if you need me, some Arabic newspaper here, if you need me to repeat what I said in Arabic, I will also be happy